Welcome to the University of the Free State.
Wa amohelwa ho University of the Free State.
Welkom by die Universiteit van die Vrystaat.
Siyakwamukela eNyuvesi yase-Free State.
Situated in the heart of South Africa, my university is a creation of the past, the present, and the future. Across our 3 campuses, 7 faculties have been home to some of the most magnificent minds. Everything we do is rooted in our values of excellence, innovation and impact, accountability, care, social justice, and sustainability. We have been changing the world for more than a century. We continue to pave the way and inspire a fresh stream of knowledge and skill to follow in the footsteps of our scholars and alumni. We hunger for knowledge that will help us to be better and to do better. Our facilities encourage excellence, pulling us towards the light of new insight and ways of applying what we know. We lead by example, advocating sustainability in everything that we do. While we are making current impact, we are also steering towards the future with the knowledge and skills we need to take the lead. The next years will be especially significant in our growth as our Vision 130 unfolds, which will peak in 2034 when the University of the Free State celebrates 130 years of existence. Vision 130 is our strategic intent to reposition the university for 2034. Join us on this journey. Together, we will go further.
I look forward to the day when argument in court can be done in a singing voice. Bayanda, thank you very much. I think she deserves another hand. Thank you. For those of you who are planning to fall asleep or relax a little bit during the proceedings this evening, I must just warn you that we are live streaming. So that camera might just catch you somewhere. So if you're sitting in a dark corner, maybe you can take a chance, but I would not recommend that. All right, this is now evidence, so please behave yourselves as far as that is concerned. Before I ask Professor Kamga to introduce Professor Hester Klopper, our Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I just want to welcome a bunch of other people here as well. Obviously, before Prof Serges comes up to welcome her, I would like to welcome him, so thank you very much for being here and taking part in the program. All of the colleagues from the University of the Free State, law faculty or not, the distinguished members of the judiciary, Judge Mbele, Judge Daffiou, Judge Hunker, Judge van der Merwe, and as they say these days, all protocol observed. So if I skipped anybody there from the judiciary, you have my apologies. Former members of the Professoriate of the Faculty of Law, Lut, I think that's you, and then learned representatives from the law fraternity in Bloemfontein, Reverend Bertie Haasbroek, and members of the Board of Trustees of the COFSI Alumni Trust, alumni of the University of the Free State, and then all donors, students, and friends of the Faculty of Law. So let's give each other a warm hand. I then invite the Dean of the Faculty of Law, Professor Serges Kamga, to introduce the Vice-Chancellor.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the celebration of the 80 years of excellence of the Faculty of Law. When I'm asked to introduce the Vice-Chancellor and Principal, it's sometimes difficult because she wants me to say everything in 2 lines. Yet she has achieved so much. I will try this evening to keep it perhaps half a page at most. I will try. It's an effort because if you have probably more than a 50-page CV to resume in half a page, I think it's not like a brief from the court. You know, when advocates said, I will just present a brief, it can be 20 pages. So I will try my best, VC, and I hope you won't find it too long. But I would like to say it's an honor and privilege for me to be standing here to celebrate this day in the life of our faculty and our university. I use this opportunity first to stand on the existing protocol already established by the Master of Ceremony. I want to say a few words about Prof Hester Klopper, our Vice-Chancellor and Principal, who've been here with us since the 1st of February 2025. She's a globally recognized academic leader, accomplished researcher, and skilled executive. Prof Klopper has an honorary doctorate from Oxford Brookes University in the UK and 8 postgraduate qualifications, including a PhD from the University of Johannesburg, and an MBA from the University of Luton in the UK. Her career spans 3 decades, marked by leadership in more than 30 local and international roles. She has received more than 40 awards and recognition for excellence in research, nursing, and leadership. Among others, she was the first South African to be inducted as a fellow of the American Academy of Nursing and was a recipient of the fellowship at Hundem of the Royal College of Surgeons of Ireland. Prof Klopper is an experienced researcher who has published more than 120 peer-reviewed works. From her first appointment to the Ministerial National Task Force of Nursing Education in 1994, she continues to drive innovation in education, research, and service, making a lasting impact on higher education and healthcare worldwide. Prof Klopper, I will not go beyond this, or else I will be disobedient to you, and I don't want to do that. You asked me to keep it short, but we are very privileged to have you as our Vice-Chancellor and Principal. Thank you. Welcome.
You want to pass this? Are you good then?
I will try this way.
Are you good? Let's come this way. Let's.
Yeah. Thank you.
I want you to break a leg.
Thank you.
Well, what a privilege to be here tonight. Esteemed guests, our colleagues from almost all our faculties who are present here, our cherished alumni. I recognize a number. I recognize some council members amongst us, valued partners, friends of the university, and I can really continue that list. It is absolutely a joyous occasion to be here and celebrating the 80th birthday of a faculty that has made such a contribution to this country. To our law alumni that's also joining us online tonight across South Africa and are here also from abroad, your virtual presence is indeed appreciated, and it echoes the gathering that brings everyone together here tonight, and it bonds history from where this faculty has originated, but also moving into a space into the future. I want to stand on the protocol. South Africa, that makes it so easy to say, let's stand on the protocol. But I want to acknowledge a number of people amongst us, and that is our acting judge president that has joined us here, acting judge president Mbele, Judge Dafu, and Prof Lewitt, Pretorius. Welcome here. I also know that Judge Ian van der Merwe was going to join. The light's in my eye. Judge, if you're here, acknowledge you also for the role that you have played as a previous chair of council. And then Judge Van Hanke, who is also the previous chair of council, and your continued contribution and support to the faculty. Professor Duplessis, Professor Emeritus and former leader of our faculty, and continues to be a distinguished law scholar. And then Ms. Molamela as an accomplished human resource professional and executive manager of human resources at Centlec. I acknowledge each and every one. I acknowledge our donors. I acknowledge the support and appreciate your presence here tonight. So if we consider 80 years of existence, somewhat there's a weight if one speaks about 80 years. The principle of that a good life is something between 70 and 80, and when you get to 80, it's really moving on into the real mature life span. But that brings a weight of responsibility. And the 80 years that we have experienced at the University of the Free State with the Faculty of Law is not merely a measure of time. It is a testament of an enduring vision, accumulated wisdom, and countless lives that has been transformed through the work of this faculty. When the Faculty of Law was officially established in 1945, so it was just at the end of the World War, alongside education and social sciences in the same year, our nation was in a very different space, and so was the world. But the fundamental question that defined legal scholarship then, the questions around justice, equity, human dignity, and the rule of law has remained as urgent as it was then, remaining today. So if we really look at 80 years in terms of the lifespan of a faculty of law, it's actually a very short time. So the faculty had witnessed South Africa's, the country, but also us as a nation, the transformation from a society that was characterized by inequality to one that strives and continue to build constitutional democracy. And many of our graduates, and I appreciate each and everyone who has joined us here in person and online tonight, have been architects of, and advocates and guardians of the transformation to take us to a point where we want to see our nation. Amongst them, of course, was Prof Fisher, who just recently in the same place we recognize, and we will continue to recognize his legacy through our annual lecture. But as Nelson Mandela, also an alumnus of the university, having conferred upon him an honorary doctorate in law in 2001, once reminded us, to deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. This truth has underscored the work of the faculty, has underscored the work of scholars from the faculty, and underscores the work of alumni over 8 decades. So indeed, we are talking about a living tradition. So from the earliest days that this faculty embraced the tradition, and I don't think there's any faculty in South Africa that is not or goes back to the Roman jurists. The harmonious marriage of academic pursuit, but building it on the practical application, has been at the core of the faculty. Our founding lecturers were not just sitting in what we would refer to the ivory tower, but they were practicing advocates, and they brought with them the complexity of the courtroom into the reality of the classroom. And we have seen that pursuit has continued with our current faculty. So they are ensuring that the legal education remains grounded in the practice demands that we see in everyday courtrooms. And to continue that legacy, the faculty has recently established what is referred to in the shadow of the prosecutor program that supports our students and providing them with the experience to actually operate alongside experienced state prosecutors. And it's very interesting when I engage with students who've been part of this program, our third and our fourth years, and I know Prof Kamga, the students say to me, no, we want to do this from our first years. What was interesting in their relation with this experience was to say that it was very quick when they were exposed to this program. They could decide, is this for them? Or no, I don't ever want to be in a prosecution space. And those are the type of opportunities that the faculty is exploring in different practice areas to provide our students with that engagement. So indeed, an exciting program that values the relationship between our faculty and then also the Directorate of the Public Prosecutor. Let me just pause a minute and go back to history. So the appointment of Dr. J.P. van der Loren van der Maat, which was our first full-time professor of law, and this goes back to 1949, marked a pivotal evolution point for the faculty. A recognition that legal scholarship requires dedicated minds, totally committed to advancing the jurisprudence, but also training the next generation. And that balance between the theory and the practice, as I alluded to, continues in terms of balancing the scholarship with service, in service of society, but also the balance between providing the theory and then the practice and how our faculty embraces that element. So it's evident, if I look at the initiatives from our faculty, such as the law clinic, where our students learn to actually practice on a daily basis and what it takes, law from an abstract doctrine to practice, it really prepares our students for what is awaiting them. So you may ask, so what is the contribution of a faculty 80 years old in a university like the Free State? As we celebrate this anniversary, we do so in an extraordinary moment, I believe, also in our institutional memory, because it's a moment of purposeful transformation. And here I'm referring to a holistic transformation. The University of the Free State of today aspires to be an innovative, research-led, student-centered, and regionally engaged university that contributes meaningfully towards responsible societal futures. We are building upon foundations of excellence. We are standing on the shoulders of giants who's come before us. But moving forward, acknowledging the vast challenges that are facing the global community in terms of artificial intelligence, the geopolitical shifts that we are experiencing, the complex, interconnected world, not just our living world, but the world that universities are faced, the demands in terms of providing our students with basic needs that they don't have access to, and balancing that with building competence, but never forgetting that it also takes wisdom, creativity, critical thinking, and those are the things that will become more important as we embrace more and more technology, the humaneness of what we want to cherish in our students. The other point, most probably, that I would want to highlight tonight is that we often underestimate the value of time and space, and particularly the geography, the place where we are positioned. And my colleagues know that since I've arrived in February, made it public to say Bloemfontein is honestly one of the best kept secrets. And it's a place that we should actually share with the world. The geography is not just a destination, but this city is the capital, a judicial capital, that often people outside the borders of our province don't realize the important role that the university and the city plays in this country. And more so, I have just in the past 2 weeks got to know that we actually are responsible for this building. That we've got a signed agreement of 35 years to look after this building, part of the estate, And what a place to share with the rest of the world. So given our proximity, given the space that we find ourselves, it provides us with an ideal opportunity to share what we've got here in Bloemfontein with the rest of the world. And that this place, the Faculty of Law, would indeed be a magnet to draw excellence to us, because we've got the history, we've got the evidence of what this faculty has contributed. And that's exactly what I would want to see this university continues to contribute. As I then draw to a conclusion, the one area that stands out for me from the Faculty of Law is indeed the alumni of this faculty. The strength of the faculty is not merely in its students, current students, it's not in its current composition in terms of staff, but it is indeed cherishing the alumni that has walked the corridors over 8 decades. And here I really want to give recognition and acknowledge our current Dean, Prof Serges Kamga, and his remarkable team for the work that they have done to continue to build a network with our valued alumni. And I want to invite you tonight, if at any time you feel that there's a different contribution you can make, please reach out. We are ready to embrace our alumni. I always say there's 3 ways that you can give. It's your time, your talent, and then when you're very rich, your treasures. But giving back in terms of time, supporting the work of our students, treasures your knowledge, your wisdom, giving back, guest lectures, being involved, is exactly what we are looking for. So please, I invite you, for those of you who are ready, please, we are ready for more involvement from your side. So in conclusion, I want to say 80 years is both an achievement to celebrate, but it is also a foundation to build on. So to our alumni across generations, you are the living proof of this faculty's excellence, its accomplishments, its values that it has lived, but the alumni and those that are in process to become alumni is the custodian of the future. So to our partners from all aspects of the legal profession, but also civil society and our friends of the university, I appreciate that you are here tonight to celebrate this evening with us. I have consistently shared a message. At the core of the university is walking with a purpose. And that purpose is to make a contribution, both within our region, but also to our country. So let's together walk this journey with purpose. I'm indeed honored to be here tonight to celebrate each and every one of you, but also to celebrate the successes of the faculty. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you very much, Professor Klopper, and thank you very much for making the time to join us here. Earlier this afternoon, she introduced the world-renowned economist, Jeffrey Sachs, and then in between I heard something about a G20 event or something online, and here you are ready to host us and to meet this panel. So thank you very much for making the time and leading from the front. Yeah, I think they put it in the fine print that we're actually responsible for this place, so you should check out the documentation. There might be some other surprises in there. I'm going to give my age away, but as a first and second year student in 1986 and 87, yeah, I look good for my age, don't I? This place was absolutely dilapidated with a leaking roof. And I remember the law faculty had 1 or 2 stupendous parties in here that I will never forget, and I think that's possibly the reason why it took me the bigger part of 80 years to pass my private law. But okay, let's not go into my history. Can I please ask our distinguished panel members to take their seats in front here, please? You've been allocated your seats. I think Professor Pretorius on the other side then, and then Judge Daffy in the middle, and Judge Mbele next to Prof Kamga. All right. Again, welcome to those joining us via live stream wherever you might be. That multiplies the crowd that we have. It is my task then to introduce to you Prof Serges Kamga, the Dean of the Faculty, but also then the facilitator of the panel discussion that we will have. But I must just acknowledge before I introduce him by reading his CV, and he said I should keep it short, but I'm just going to ignore it and read everything. I need to clarify a conflict of interest, and I think it will just be the right thing to do. I have a deal with the Dean. The Dean's office called me and asked me that if I facilitate this process pro bono, then the Dean would make sure that my son, a third-year law student, passes law of contract. So it's out there now, and I think I've done the right thing. Mr. Justice Zondo scared the living daylights out of me, so I'm not going to take any chances with him. And yes, next year I'll also be then a speaker at the conference on corruption and nepotism. So we'll welcome you on all of that. The Dean of the Faculty of Law, Professor Serges Kamga. Serges Kamga is a full professor of human rights law and the Dean of the Faculty of Law at the University of the Free State. Until last year, he was the Vice President of the African Network of Constitutional Lawyers, the Central African Region. He's also a member of the Executive Committee of the International Association of Constitutional Lawyers. Prof Kamga previously worked at the Thabo Mbeki African School of Public and International Affairs at UNISA, the Center for Human Rights at the University of Pretoria, and at the South African Institute for Advanced Constitutional Law at a center of the University of Johannesburg. Prof Kamga is a C1 NRF-rated researcher by the South African National Research Foundation, and just last week he was elected as a member of the Academy of Sciences of South Africa. Right. His research over the years demonstrates a profound and sustained commitment to advancing knowledge about human rights in Africa, especially on the right to development in the African human rights system, human rights from cross-cultural perspectives, and disability rights. His research also includes illicit financial flows and their impact on human rights in Africa. He is the author, editor, or co-editor of 13 books and 75 articles and book chapters. Prof Kamga has received several research grants and awards, including the prestigious Ali Masrui Award for Scholarship and Research Excellence. Professor Kamga, thank you very much for joining us this evening and for facilitating the panel discussion for us. The floor is yours, and the floor is also belongs to the panelists. So welcome to the microphone.
Thank you so much, Willem, for these very kind words, for your generosity in introducing me. But for the deal that we have, when we look at the numbers of commissions we're having in this country, we don't want to sit there and respond to these difficult questions. So thank you so much for agreeing to be with us this evening. And I would like, before I introduce the panelists, I would like to thank Prof Klopper again for having to juggle between the G20 and be at the Jeffrey Sachs lecture, and now she's with us. Thank you very much. Your support is very much appreciated, VC. And to the panelists, very big thanks for responding to our invitation to celebrate this milestone. Without you, we will be doing it alone, and we will be missing, I would say, the cream that we need for this celebration. So thank you. I would like to start by introducing Judge Johan Dafoe, who is a judge of the Free State High Court. Prior to his appointment to the bench, Judge Dafoe had a long career in legal practice. After serving articles, he was admitted as an attorney in 1980, later a conveyancer and notary public, and then partner at Van de Venter, Dafoe and Venter in Bloemfontein. He joined the Free State Bar as an advocate in 1989 and has a diverse practice. He served as a member of the Free State Bar Council from 2003 till 2012 and was appointed as senior counsel in 2009. He practiced as a silk until his elevation to the bench in 2012. Judge Dafoe is an alumnus of the UFS. He also earned qualification from UNISA and Buckinghamshire New University in the UK. Judge Dafoe is married to Advocate Belinda Ann Dafoe, who is also an alumni of the University of the Free States. Judge Dafoe and his wife have 2 children. Thank you so much, Judge, for coming and accepting to be on the panel. Thank you. I will now introduce Acting Judge President Nombulao Matambele. Judge Mbele has served as a judge of the High Court of South Africa, Free State Division, since January 2016 and became Deputy Judge President in July 2021. She has also acted on the Supreme Court of Appeal from December 2023 to May 2024, and previously served as an acting judge in the High Court of Lesotho. She currently chairs the board of Legal Aid South Africa. Her legal career began in 1996 after completing her BProc. Following her admission as attorney, she managed a branch of Pite Mosese Incorporated. In 2002, she joined the Legal Aid South Africa, where she held senior leadership roles before becoming a director at Mlambi Incorporated in 2012, a position she held until her judicial appointment. Judge Mbele has an extensive record of professional service, including roles in the Free State Law Society, the Law Society of South Africa, the Black Lawyer Association, the South African Women Lawyers Association, and the National Forum on the Legal Profession. She has also served on multiple boards and trusts, including the Attorneys Fidelity Fund, the BLA Legal Education Center, and the Legal Provident Fund, as well as municipal and academic bodies. A committed advocate for legal education, trial advocacy, and gender equality, she has been active in programs addressing violence against women in 2012. She was a finalist for South Africa's Most Influential Woman Award in the legal category. Thank you so much for joining us, Acting Judge President Bele. Thank you so much. It's always a real pleasure to have you, and thank you for all the work you've already done and continue to do for the faculty. Thank you. As I proceed, I would like to introduce Prof Lord Pretorius, who have found many of his students as alumni here today. I will not try to give away his age. I will not do that. William is very good at doing that, but I wouldn't. So, as I thank you as well for joining us, Prof Pretorius, I would like to say he holds a BCom Law, LLB, BA, Honors and LLD from UFS. All of the degrees were from this university. He served as academic head of the Department of Constitutional Law and Philosophy of Law at the University of the Free State. From 1994, he spent extended research visits at the University of Augsburg and the Max Planck Institute for Foreign Public Law and International Law in Heidelberg in Germany. He was on scholarships awarded by the German Academic Exchange, the Service, and the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation. Before retirement in 2019, he served as the coordinator, postgraduate program and research of the Free State Center for Human Rights. He is currently appointed as an extraordinary professor at the center. His research interests include constitutionalism, human rights, and employment law. I would like to use this opportunity to reiterate my gratitude for you accepting to be part of the panel. Generally, Prof Pretorius doesn't want to speak in public. I know he's very quiet, always very calm. So when we got the confirmation that he was going to be with us, it was a real pleasure because he knows the history, he knows he's been at the faculty forever, he studied at the faculty, so he witnessed the transition and the development and progress made by the faculty. Perhaps before we start with the discussion, I would like probably to say a few words on the faculty. And in starting this, I would like to start by thanking a lot Mrs. Patricia Lamousse and Prof. Rodney Gumede from the Development and Institutional Advancement Directorate of the university for being in the front seat to put this event together. I would really like to place on record their help, their leadership, their drive to get this a celebration done. So I would like to say to you, esteemed guests, your presence here echoes the success of our faculty in producing leaders in the legal profession, the academia, and other sectors of the society. Our success is your success. Through your networks, your financial and moral support, you have enabled the Faculty of Law to thrive and to become the faculty where all law students should be. The faculty has grown to establish itself among the top 300 law faculty in the world. We are well respected with partners such as the Office of the UN High Commission for Human Rights. Amongst others, last week in Geneva, through our faculty, the UFS was represented at the UN World Social Forum, where we spoke on inclusive education, and we also organized a side event to showcase not only the work of the Faculty of Law, but what is taking place at our university. I will say last week, our faculty won 2 awards at the Marketing Advancement and Communication Awards held in Johannesburg on the 30th November this year. We received award of the faculty first year orientation and an award for our program in the shadow of the prosecutors initiatives that the VC spoke about earlier. So these are programs and our way of doing things is well recognized, not only nationally, but also internationally. In March next year, we will be having a week of training for advocacy and lawyering with Campbell University, who are going to, their dean, Professor Leonard, Richard, he's going to be here. We will have an MOU just to train our final year students. We will start with a good number to train them, taking into consideration our local context. So this is a partnership in making. And I want to say our law clinic, the Vice-Chancellor and Principal also refer to the law clinic. Our law clinic is now one of the best, if not the best in this country. Because we actually recently, we were admitted to act as the friend of the court at the Supreme Court of Appeal here in Bloemfontein for a very important matter. I am proud to say that I lead a faculty that have 6 NRF-rated researchers and a member of the Academic Sciences of South Africa. And I will say we are less than 50 permanent academic staff. So with all this achievement, while we are celebrating, all this will not have happened without your support in various forms. Now, to up our game, we strive to be and remain and try to be and remain the faculty of choice for law students. We try to do that. And to this end, I joined a global network of deans. It's called the Rule of Law Global Academic Partnership, which held its first annual conference in Toronto last week. It's an international conference that was interrogating the notion of rule of law and the role of universities, and especially the role of law schools. In the discussion, the role of alumni was also central on what we should do. So on this backdrop, we kind of frame the topic of discussion for this evening to see how we can benefit for our location in the judicial capital of the country. How can we tap into what we have to make the law faculty not only the best in this country, but the best in this continent and even one of the best in the world? Having you who have studied with us, who've had a journey and who remain connected to us, you are an asset for the law faculty and the university. And that's why when we crafted the program for this evening, it was important not only to have our alumni, those online, and the judges, and our professors. So we hope that the engagement will actually bring you more to the university, more to us, more to the faculty, not only with ideas, not only with support, moral support, but also through your networks, through your contact, through what can we do to take the Faculty of Law at a greater high, at the best level that we can. And this, the success that we are celebrating today, is our history, is what we want to do, and it's a privilege for each of us to put a stone, a building block on what the faculty and the university want to achieve. Perhaps with these long words, please, I would like to go back now and start the discussion with the panelists. Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Is the mic? Thank you. Thank you very much. So I would like to start with the first question on the rule of law. And we thought the acting judge president should perhaps tell us, please, in your view, what does the rule of law truly mean within South Africa, where we have a constitutional democracy, and why does it remain the cornerstone of a just society? Over to you, Joe.
Thank you, Professor Kamga. The world we live in is a law-thick world. All aspects of life are impacted by laws, regulations, rights and responsibilities. From the moment a person is born, through education, housing, employment, transport, health, the air that one breathes, the water they drink, up to the end of life, the law impacts their day-to-day life and economic and social well-being. As such, legal and justice needs are common in the lives of most people. Addressing legal and justice needs demands access to public justice services and other dispute resolution mechanisms in order to recognize and obtain a remedy to the legal needs in question, thus giving place to justice needs. The ability of the legal and justice system to effectively respond and address those needs for all people and generate fair outcomes is critical to ensure well-being, equal opportunity, and access to public services. Conversely, the inability of justice system to prevent or resolve people's legal issues can weaken the social contract and lead to unresolved grievances, instability, or even violence. I like how the World Justice Project defines the rule of law, which, in my view, it resonates well with me. It defines it as a durable system of laws, institutions, norms, and community commitment to the achievement of 4 universal principles. The first one being accountability, meaning that the government as well as private actors are accountable under the law. Just law. The law is clear, publicized, and stable, and is applied evenly. It ensures human rights as well as property contract and procedural rights. Open government, the processes by which the law is adopted, administered, adjudicated, and enforced are accessible, fair, and efficient. Accessible and impartial justice. Justice is delivered timely by competent, ethical, and independent representatives and neutrals who are accessible, have adequate resources, and reflect the makeup of the communities they serve. And I think that simply encapsulates everything about what the rule of law is. And that's how I understand the rule of law to be.
Thank you very much, Judge President. Thank you so much. I will immediately give the mic to Prof Pretorius to check with you, having listened to the definition of the rule of law. In your view, what is the role of the university in fostering the rule of law?
Okay, thank you, Dean. I hope I'm audible because I usually speak a bit softly, which is an attitude or a skill that I acquired in order not to disturb students who wish to sleep during my lecture. So hopefully it's not one of those situations. If I may just add something, and I'm happy that the Judge President has mentioned it. So rule of law is not just a formal concept meaning obedience to the law or negatively the absence of lawlessness, although that is actually also very good if that should be absent, especially here in this country at the moment. But to be really meaningful, it must entail substantive principles of justice. Otherwise, rule of law would just mean obedience to injustice, which is a meaningless concept. So all these things like human rights, equality, fairness, and so on are also part of a substantive understanding of the rule of law. So with that as a background, if you look at the university, what can a university, what could its unique contribution be to foster that sort of understanding of the rule of law? And the universities, being a university, can only contribute through its core functions, which means education, teaching and learning, research, and through community engagement and service. So in all these things, if the university is to play a meaningful role in the promotion of the rule of law, it must be reflected in these core functions. So just briefly, if we talk about education, so the main thing is to incorporate rule of law values and principles in curricula. And not just the law faculty, not just law, but actually in all relevant disciplines, especially the humanities. Because the rule of law is not a standalone topic that is of relevance for legal studies only. It is about these things that we have just mentioned. And these things are not just, these things are also important to all disciplines. And in order to be meaningful, students must understand how their specific field of study relate to rule of law issues. So all the substantive elements of the rule of law, such as equality, human rights, accountability, transparency, and so things that you've mentioned, are concerns for all disciplines. And it's really foundational to developing in students some sense of civic duty and responsibility. So through curriculum incorporation as a first contribution that universities can make, we can briefly refer their contribution regarding research and advocacy, the obvious thing. So research is disseminated. If the rule of law related research that is done needs to be disseminated in the same way through publications, conferences, and so on. And it should address important concerns regarding the rule of law, and I suppose we will talk about that a bit later.
Yes.
Because we are experiencing quite substantive challenges regarding the rule of law as things are at the moment. And we can talk about specifically what universities and the faculty of law can maybe contribute as part of an effort to address this. Very helpful is specialized research institutions. So if universities can develop and support specialized research centers and institutions, like the Free State Center for Human Rights, as an example, that can conduct advanced research addressing these rule of law issues, that would be extremely important. And of course, when it comes to advocacy, universities ought to engage national bodies that support constitutional democracy, like our Chapter 9 institutions and Parliament as examples, by means of research and so on, to strengthen these institutions in their work on regarding the rule of law, and to make them more effective. But there's one very important component for universities, and that is how they conduct how they conduct their own internal practices, and how does their organizational culture look. Universities can act as a role model for good governance by maintaining high standards of ethical conduct and professional conduct internally. They can incorporate practices of accountability and transparency. Otherwise, it would ring pretty hollow for universities then to talk about the rule of law in other contexts. They should also, when we talk about the substantive elements of the rule of law, promote fairness, diversity, and inclusivity in order to address inequality and foster social cohesion. So, in summary, universities should promote the rule of law through education, and this helps learners understand essential elements of accountability, equality, and fairness. It equips them with the knowledge, values, and attitudes they might need to contribute constructively to society. And this is how I see the essence of what universities can contribute if they do their core job. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Professor, thank you. I want to check with you just a few. Now that we are turning 80 years, what are the possible innovative ways? What type of innovation can we use to reimagine the role of the university in shaping legal mind, future legal mind? How can we, because I understand very well the presentation by Prof Pretorius, how can we reimagine at 80? And in your view, how can we do that differently to improve or add to what he had, Prof Lord just said?
Professor Kamga, you want me to criticize. it is difficult for me as actually an outsider. The last time that I was at the university was some time ago, especially the law faculty. But I think I was listening to Professor Klopper, and what was interesting for me in her speech, and she's such a lovely speaker. I mean, I'm feeling like a after-dinner speaker at this stage. But she was referring to the holistic approach that's got to be adopted by the varsity. And you also mentioned before we entered that, you mentioned it just now as well, but you referred to the figure of 300, that we are one of the 300 best universities in the world. Now, when I was at varsity in 1976, 1979, here in the Free State, that was some time ago, and I don't think that we were just a small university in a small country, and we were obviously not considered outside the borders of this country. And I'm glad to hear what you say now. I'm going to go back to the holistic approach, and I'll deal with it now. But I think it's important also to just deal with what my colleagues have said about the rule of law first. And I always go back to the Romans and to Latin, and they say that, you know, they started in the 12 tables, which we studied at varsity in the Roman law many, many decades ago. And the rule of law is regarded by them as dura lex, sed lex. The law is hard, but that is the law. So we've got to comply with the law, and the law's authority must be upheld, even if it leads to harsh outcomes. And often students do not want to understand that, and even other young people, I'm not talking of law students, but young people in principle, and obviously, where do they learn from? Look at what happens in our country. We can also look at the rule of law as being encompassing the principle of legality, separation of powers, and I'll come back to that, and also, but for me, most important is the respect for human rights. All of us are accountable. That is institutions, private persons, organs of state. We are accountable, and we've got to ensure an orderly and a just society. Without that, there will be chaos. And we are seeing what's happening at this stage. And our function as alumni is to ensure that our law students are getting some support from outsiders like us at this stage. And you know, if you look at, for example, things like the corruption and maladministration, which is inconsistent with the Constitution. I mean, these are the antitheses of an open, accountable, and a democratic government. And what are we doing about that? We cannot just sit still. We've got to do something. I remember in the Zuma case, which we've referred to also last year, and it's reported in 2025, dealing with Section 165(4) of the Constitution, which says that it obliges all organs of state to assist and protect the courts, and that's what my colleague was saying here, to ensure the independence, impartiality, dignity, accessibility, and effectiveness of the courts. And that is something that's close to my heart, because people do not do what they're supposed to do, and we are there to teach. The court's authority and the obedience to their orders are the very foundation of a constitutional order founded under the rule of law. But what happens now? Mama Bolo's case, you'll remember the Constitutional Court dealt with that, where ETV was involved and the entity was convicted of contempt of court. The Constitutional Court eventually said, no, well, there was no contempt of court. It dealt with free speech. People think they can say whatever they want to say. And that causes a problem, because It's okay to be dissatisfied with a judgment. There's nothing wrong with that. The law student, whether it's a first, second, third, or fourth year LLB student, or the lecturer, may write an article in an academic publication and say, but I don't agree with the judge for these and these reasons. But then you do it on proper grounds with fairness and consider it properly. But what happens nowadays? Please don't kill the judge. Don't set a light to his vehicle, and don't insult him on social media, because that is what happens. I was at a congress many years, in 2017, of judges across the African continent. And even then, and with justices from other areas outside Africa came to address us, had this problem about people attacking judges personally, not just judges, magistrates also. We've seen what's happened just recently with a very high-profile politician. And what do we do about that? And I say, take this holistic approach, consider how we deal with it. And I'm glad Professor Pretorius also referred to it. It's not only law students. It is across the board. But we can start with the law students. You know, I think the student wants to pass an individual subject. He writes tomorrow criminal law, the next day contract law, and they concentrate on that. But we've got to show them that there's a much bigger picture. If you're doing law of persons, the Constitution is applicable. If you do criminal law, the Constitution is applicable. Whatever area of the law, there's the Constitution, the rule of law is applicable. But sometimes I think students don't understand that. And we have got a duty as alumni and university, the lecturers, professors, lecturers, to come together and see how we can do that. My proposal is, why do we not have and I don't want to say a compulsory, but an annual seminar? We can hold it for either the first years or the second years, third years or the fourth years, or combined. But there are so many students nowadays, it's difficult. You'd rather have to have them in separate years so that you can have more interaction with them. And for me, it is about fierce discussions at that stage. Get in people from the SCA, get in people even from the Constitutional Court, get in people from organs of state, attorneys, advocates, and have this discussion so that they understand what it means to obey the rule of law. And if I say that, think about your architects, think about your doctors, think about your medical doctors, think about your auditors. Just now, 2 weeks ago, I had a situation where an auditor in a criminal case, for a criminal which was convicted, signed no tax returns for that person, 5 companies and his own entity. He was the sole, it's close corporations, he was the sole member of all these. The auditor that didn't know the person signed no returns, whilst this person was tendering and making millions of rands. So the auditor is actually the person that did not abide the rule of law. He should have investigated and asked for bank statements to find out what's going on. So it's not the law students, it's not the lawyers that must abide by the rule of law. There's everybody. So perhaps that seminar could be then also taken through to the medical people, to the whoever, the auditors and the people in the other faculties. But we've got to seriously consider that. When I say that, I also want to say one thing, and apparently I thought there would be students here as well, but they are not. We cannot allow dissatisfied people to set libraries alight and other properties, or to throw stones at personnel's motor vehicles when they are dissatisfied, they are obviously entitled to protest. But also protest action have certain obligations. You cannot just do whatever you want to do. And people have to be taught about this. I am glad to know that this varsity, this faculty, has really produced top-class people. I'm glad to see my two friends, Judges van der Merwe and Hanke here, top-class judges. They've produced top-class lawyers, various top-class business people, and outstanding academia over the last 80 years. Yes, unfortunately, for many of those years, the majority of our people were not part of the varsity and could not qualify themselves as lawyers in the faculty. That luckily changed a few years ago, and I hope that whoever stands here or sits here again in 10 or 20 years' time would be able to say, well, we've achieved much more than in 2025. What I want to say is that we cannot continue with this trend as it's going now at this stage. And the way is, and I know there's somebody in the audience here that is involved specifically with things like corruption, trying his best to avoid that and to get the criminals. So we have to, from our side, also make sure that whatever we do, that we teach our students, but we must also be the examples that we can say that we are free of any maladministration, that we abide to the rule of law, and that's the example. And on that basis, we can then assist our students because next year they are lawyers, and they will be in the business, and they will be heads of organs of state, where they've got to take decisions based on the rule of law. I think that I cannot think of anything more than we can do is to try and get everybody together. And I think the annual seminar would be a good thing, Professor, and I conclude with that.
Judge, thank you so much. I was taking notes, writing down your recommendations that really matter to us, to have recommendations and practical approaches. And I'm very happy that you highlighted the role of our alumni community, the role that they should play in taking the faculty and the university forward. Perhaps before we move to the final reflective comments, I would like to add that besides having those programs, I think we should have also a formidable professional team, which we are blessed to have in the faculty. We also, because we are in a very competitive environment, so a celebration like this should not end here. It should be brought to the community beyond the Free State. And at the Faculty of Law, we are happy to some extent because the 2 awards we won last week was the fruit of Mrs. Onyango, who presented the award nationally, who is our marketer at the faculty, the marketer officer, who is a senior officer of marketing, together with the Lasher's office, the together plans we had in the shadow of the prosecutor, which is going to be really a landmark program in the country. And Mrs. Onyango was able to present that out there to the nation, and we won the prize. This is to say, when we do our work, we should also be able to show it to the world. If we do our things and it just stays here between us, it's like conversation between friends, it won't be impactful. And in your comment, you also mentioned the need to work together in a transdisciplinary fashion. And it's actually one of the key drivers of our Vice-Chancellor, who is requesting us to work across discipline. A lawyer should not just be fixed to black letter law. When we are talking of sustainable futures, it means interdisciplinarity within the university and beyond. Perhaps to explain how do we work as lawyers on issue of environmental law together with the Faculty of Natural Sciences? How do we have a center that looks at sustainable energy within the framework of the law faculty, so that it becomes a center that pulls all other faculties to work with us as a community of scholars? So I was taking notes, very much appreciating the recommendations, and as for me wanting you to criticize, we learn, we grow when we see that there are some shortcomings. But thank you for your kindness. You did not destroy what we have achieved so far. I must appreciate that, because when you talk of critics, of course, we are trained to disagree at times, but we will have received it very positively. But at the same time, thank you for letting us know that we are on the right track in what we are doing, and thanks for your recommendations. I want us to immediately move to the final reflections that will enable us to have perhaps a chance to take one or two questions from the floor. So let's move to the final reflections. I would like to start with Judge President here. Looking toward Vision 130, which is the vision of the university, how should the Faculty of Law define its legacy? Not only as a center of legal scholarship, but as a vital institution that nurtures ethical leadership, protects democracy, but most importantly, let's again have a conversation on what can alumni bring on board to strengthen our work. Let's probably focus more on that. And with the Judge President, and together with the Judge President of the Supreme Court of Appeal, we have internship programs where students go to court. They even get a stipend for being part of the internship program. We establish women mentorship programs where our students go to court. We have the work integrated learning programs with many of the law firms in the city of the Free State, even the initiative with the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. These are things that we are doing, but I would like to know from the panel, let's center the next and final session on the communication on how to tap into the resources that our alumni are, because we need you, all alumni, to be part of this faculty, one way or another. Thank you. I will start with you, Judge President.
Thank you very much, Professor Kamga. The cornerstone of the 120 agenda or 130 agenda?
Yes, Vision 130.
Vision 130 is the pledge to leave no one behind and to see the goals and targets met for all segments of society. Reaching the furthest behind first. Yet for millions of people throughout the world, the full enjoyment of human rights remains a distant goal. In many cases, the law is used as a tool to protect, promote, and advance human rights. Unfortunately, as I mentioned before, in the same vein, the law is also a tool that is used to enable curtailment and limitation of rights, especially for those in vulnerable situations, including, among others, poor people, people with disabilities, minority communities, migrants and refugees, LGBTQIA+, and gender diverse persons. We might see buildings such as courts, but the law as an instrument is largely unseen. But its impact is so great that it shapes our entire lives and the lives of our communities and country at large. A challenge to us all, or to the alumni of this great university, is: do we see our own lives rooted and equally needing the rest of the society to succeed in order for us to succeed? Do we align our programs with the needs of the society that we live in order for us to see success? Do we see ourselves in the challenges of the people we serve and willing to do the extra work of getting stuck in to solve the issues of poverty, hunger, inequality, gender-based violence? We must be involved in our communities beyond being masters of the law in the formal processes only. The work of the law is never done. We battle in all manner of ways every day because we are constantly seeing new applications of the law, new laws being introduced, and ultimately the law is the only tool that we have to radically improve the lives of people. Where do we place ourselves in all this? What contribution are we willing to make in order to ensure that we can bring change? Are we able to take a step and say, I'm able to bring change wherever I am? In every corner where I find myself, am I able to touch those around me to see change? Because as things stand, law is one biggest tool available to change lives. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Judge. Thank you. I will immediately move to you, Prof. Pretorius.
Sure.
Yes, to get your reflections.
Is that according to protocol? For sure.
No.
You are missing the judge.
No,
Okay.
there is no protocol.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so if regarding the issue, namely what legacy
Yes.
should the Faculty of Law strive for when it comes to the promotion of the rule of law? So to me, that means we have to think over the next 80 years, what have we actually done? When it comes to addressing the really daunting problems that we are facing with when it comes to the erosion of the rule of law in this country. So I see that there is a long-term and continuous thing that law faculties must do. It's an educational institution. So we must look at the kind of law teaching that we do. And we must ask ourselves if the teaching that we have done and the research that we have done, does it comply with that wonderful metaphor in the epilogue of the, also called the postamble of the interim constitution, where it describes that the law that we should strive for, and I'll quote here, is one that functions as a historic bridge between a past that was characterized by inequality, strife, conflict, suffering and injustice, and a present grounded in human rights, justice, and peaceful coexistence. So to make students aware of law as not just a self-standing, closed system of rules and institutions, doctrines, but as part of a larger social fabric, and to sensitize them to the important role that law plays and can play in, and must play in bringing about social justice. This should hopefully characterize the teaching function of universities, over the faculty of law specifically, over the next decades that come. And this is a sort of legacy on that level that we should hopefully leave behind. But there's another level, and that is, and this is maybe a more contingent one. There are always specific challenges regarding the rule of law that any society is faced by. And this should also be part of our legacy. What did we do to play our part to address these specific challenges and problems that come over in our way? And I mean, I don't have to make everybody depressed. They read the news just as I do, and it's just a question of, one of the main things is the complete erosion of public trust in democratic institutions. And this is partly, to a large extent, due to inequality and poverty and unemployment, but also to a large extent to simple lack of accountability and corruption, and all these things that are the antithesis of the rule of law that is practiced on a large scale. So, I mean, it's if you want to know, just the latest Afrobarometer survey shows that public trust over the last 15 years in democratic institutions has almost disappeared. For instance, when it cut, public trust in Parliament was somewhere 61%, it's now 30%. Public trust in the executive is even lower, as you can imagine. But the courts have also not escaped this trend, unfortunately. Public trust in the Constitutional Court 15 years ago was 61%, it's now 38%. People saying they trust almost nothing or just a little. If we listen and if we hear what is being claimed and what is said at the Madlanga Commission and at the ad hoc committee, parliamentary ad hoc committee into corruption, into police corruption, then it's really, really concerning. If the National Director of Public Prosecution say that crime is ravaging this country, and that the law enforcement authorities seem to be, this is her words, seem to be sitting by helplessly, watching all of this like a horror movie, that should concern all of us. And although we moved away from the Gupta state capture era, maybe I don't know if it's the CEO, but the heir of the Hollard business enterprise or empire, he says that's been replaced, and it's clear for us all to see that sort of state capture has been replaced by state captures through organized crime. And there's a new book out now with the title, what is it, The Mafia State, where the author says state capture that we experience now is state capture through 1,000 knives, which sort of just tells us how diffused this has become. Almost impossible to, or no, I shouldn't say that, difficult to counter. Okay.
Thank you.
Let's leave it there.
Yes.
So you can ask what can we do about it as a faculty of law, but we will leave it there.
Yeah, we might perhaps discuss further when after cutting the cake this evening. I want to perhaps have the final reflection from you, Joshua.
Professor, I thought I'd say I concur with the first judgment and the second judgment, but I think I just want to say something about what Prof Pretorius has said now. I was always very optimistic about the new South Africa, and there was a stage when I got depressed, but we cannot, as the majority of the people in this country, and supposedly we're the good people, we cannot say, but there are these criminals and these organized crime elements, and as a result thereof, we can say and throw in the towel and say it's the end of the story. We still, as this university and its alumni and all the good people in this country, must ensure that we come together, that we stand together, and that we do our best to ensure that the rule of law is complied with. We can do that. If we look at, there are so many people, look at the Siya Kulisis, for example. There are so many people that are good people, and we should not be demotivated by that. And we must proceed, and we must tell our students, if you go and you get into an organ of state, see to it that you apply the principle of legality, see to it that you are not there to steal, but that you are there to do your best for your country. But anyway, I just wanted to raise that point.
Thank you. As I will give you the floor, Willem, I will simply, probably request when you will be perhaps taking 2 questions to look at how our alumni can be part of what we are doing. Because the faculty is very much willing to work with you, and even after this conversation, we can still meet. Perhaps I can come to you or you come to me, and we look at possibilities on how to grow the faculty and the university. I would like to say very quickly that the Faculty of Law, in my view, is in a very good place. This is not due to the dean, it's due to the team that I have. I have formidable HODs, great directors of centers, my 2 vice deans, my office managers, my faculty managers. All these achievements, our marketer officers, all these achievements we've achieved in not so distant time is the work of a team, a very solid team that has given everything. We are talking of when we are talking in this country about financial therapy, we think of the School of Financial Planning Law at our university. So we are innovating. You were talking earlier of diversity. We have established a disability right unit at the Faculty of Law that takes care of research and advanced advocacy and discussion on issues, take part of dialogue on the inclusion of persons with disabilities. And to also demystify the law, especially for first-year students, we have established a faculty student mentor portfolio that is just there to tell the story of the law away from Latin and very careful legal terms. So the Faculty of Law is on a very good path, not because the dean, is the team. We are a team that are striving to take the faculty forward. And we use also this opportunity to thank the management of the university for the support, and also welcome Professor Rodney Gumede to the university, who is new. So we welcome you very much, and looking forward to your contribution in taking not only the faculty forward, but the university forward. I want to give the floor to you, Willem, so that you can take one or two questions to see how we can work with our alumni. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof Kamga. Before I ask for maximum 2 questions from the audience, I know it's a long time ago, Professor Luet, but I want to thank you, and it's not just on my behalf, but many students, that you spoke softly and let us sleep in your class.
My pleasure.
Because I remember that very often after your class followed administrative law, and Prof Raad did not extend that courtesy to students. So thank you. You'll be fondly remembered for that basic human right that you respected.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, ladies.
I never noticed you in my class. I
heard rumors of you speaking softly,
all right. But they are greatly exaggerated.
Must have been in the library then, I think.
Oh, okay.
Eli, can you remember where our study group was at that stage? I'm going to take 2 questions, and I think the questions should be exactly on the topic that Prof Kamga mentioned, is how do donors and alumni step in? How do you contribute? Almost an invitation on how you can get involved and pose your questions around that. We have 2 roving microphones. There's one. Is there one on the other side? Okay. So the ladies will assist you if you raise your hand. Just one thing. This is not your opportunity to cross-examine a judge. I'm sorry. They are under my protection, and I will not allow that. Also, it's not your opportunity to get back at an ex-lecturer. I will also not allow that. So, gentlemen, lady, you are under my protection, and I will make sure that nothing in that vein happens here. Right. Do we have a hand anywhere? I'm a little bit blinded by that light up there. I know that you're aware of the fact that there is refreshments to follow, but please let that not come in the way of discourse. Anybody? Ladies, do you see hands there? I do not. So for the first time, for the second time, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Or you must appoint someone randomly.
I did not, we did not plant anybody in the audience. We should have thought about that. Gentlemen, there is a hand. Marty, did you now really have to do it? Did you not hear about the refreshments? Marty, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm the one who always have to ask a question, so I'll just do my part. I really don't have a suggestion. Because you had the school and Judge Djoyou and to all the panelists, thank you very much. And maybe this is related to what alumni can do, but something came up when you say Judge Djoyou is what do we do or good people. So what they say is the only thing for bad people to get away with what they are getting away with is for good people to look at what they're doing and to do nothing. So it's just to just say something, to just stand up and do something. So it seems like maybe we have just been, the good people have just been quiet. So that's my takeaway, maybe, and maybe the call for the alumni to also get involved, to just do something, to not do nothing, to just, thanks.
Thank you, Marty.
Thank you, Marty. I also thought from the Center for Human Rights side, you were going to ask alumni to join us at the Center for Human Rights with the fantastic work that you and Danny and others are doing there. So perhaps also an invitation to alumni to get involved at the work of the Center for Human Rights as well as other departments in the faculty. Yes, thank you for your comment, Marty.
Judge Djoyou, is there a response there, or any of our two other panel members to the question or the ideas that Marty raised?
Yeah, well, while you're talking of the Department of, what do you call it?
The Center for Human Rights?
Center for Human Rights. Now, I know Dani quite well. I wish I could say that we had money or the varsity had money to increase that center tenfold, for example, because the legal aid cannot assist everybody. There is just not money enough, and then often people are just too rich to get legal aid, and that group of people should be supported, and that's what that institution can do quite well, and I know that they do a lot of good work, but if we can improve their resources and their strengths and the personnel, that would be a fantastic idea, and it would go a long way to assist the needy people that do not qualify for legal aid, for example. The good people that have been taken aback by, for example, organ of state not complying with the legality principle, for example.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Prof Lund?
Yes, well, I just want to, I hope I didn't give a defeatist impression. That's not what it's just to emphasize the urgency. Oh, yeah. So we have to see it for what it is. It is a crisis. It's not anything except a crisis. But there is a lot that faculties of law, in conjunction with the alumni, can do. We can try to influence. It's a diverse group, the alumni, and they are in all walks of life and in all professions. So wherever and whatever is relevant in partnership with the Faculty of Law, we can do a lot. We can make policy inputs. We can try to make presentations when it comes to legislation and how can we strengthen the rule of law. It's not really how do we make corruption difficult? How do we make people accountable who are complicit in all of this? Also, not really, you don't really need, it's been done before. I don't think we will go as far as they did in Georgia in 2000 when they asked the police to reapply for their positions. It's not going to fly here. But there's so much that we can do. There are so many. In the Glenister judgment already, the Constitutional Court spelled out a lot of things that we can do to strengthen law enforcement authorities to root out political influence and that's those sort of thing, and what they are doing has not been implemented. I don't know why, but it's not been implemented. Simple things. Law faculties in conjunction with all the people in practice can help to give simple things like lifestyle audits a more solid legislative base. If it becomes compulsory for every police person or people in political office or in whatever other public capacity to undergo these sort of things, you can go some way. There is something, just the last thing. So you see, I do speak a lot sometimes.
Yes.
Depends on the topic.
Yeah.
Okay, but
I wouldn't cut you, simply to say that a lot has been happening at the university, and we had in September an international conference on corruption and human rights. It was actually hosted by the Center for Human Rights. We have a lot of activities with the BE Commission. I think, and not only we have a great team, all our academics and professional staff are top class. We just need to find a way to get the resources, to get them involved in the research, in things. People are willing to give their best. And that's why a meeting like this with our alumni, we cannot call on you enough to bring in your support, to enable us to reach another level. Just the mere fact that you can be involved with us, sponsoring our activities, getting a stand at our events with the board of your law firm. This is motivating enough and encouraging, not only for our staffs, academic and professional, but for our students who look up to you. When you come to the law faculty, it's because you saw Judge President Bailey, you saw Judge Defoe, you see professors, you say you want to be like them. But now we want your presence to inspire our students, to make sure that when a student comes to the law faculty, it's because he once saw you giving a speech at our event, like we had with Judge Ian van der Merwe last time when he came to speak at the conference organized by the Department of Mercantile Law. We want you to be involved, even just your presence. At time we will call on you to come and do opening remarks for the faculty. Tell the students what it means to be a lawyer, to be in the legal profession. Hearing from you is always different from hearing from the teacher that I am. Because when I will be saying, they say, yes, he teaches. That's his work. But a practitioner brings a whole new different perspective to inspire law students. We see our law student, Ms. Kize, who is singing so well. It's a law student. We are proud of her. She will also be happy to sit in the class, not just being taught by professors, but by practitioners. Perhaps through you, she can learn to compose a song for the legal profession just by having you there. So it's a real invitation to you, alumni, to be part of the law faculty. Don't be distant, be with us so that we can fly the flight higher.
Thank you, Prof Kamga. I'm going to ask Judge President Mbele, a last word from you.
My last word is the approach that the university has to take in dealing with some of the problems that are confronting the country and the communities that we find in is that the university should adopt a people-centered justice, or should start with a mapping of people's justice needs. The fact that people are being denied what they are entitled to because funds bleed and go to places where they are not intended to go, that on its own says there's a need for the people with ability to influence policy to approach these issues with people centered in their minds. And that says when you approach these problems, you do not say, what do I need as the one helping these people for me to be able to assist them? You look at them and you say, what intervention can I make to help them access the basic services that they are entitled to? That is what should be occupying us most of the time. And what I would actually suggest to the alumni is that the university must take advantage of cross-sectoral collaboration, and that the collaboration between the justice system and the health, education, and other social services system to meet people where they are with justice services and be able to reach out to them. The university needs to shape the future of the scholars and students. In a way where they will emphasize strengthening of data ecosystem to capture through the legal needs of the people and administrative data, so that it should be able to give them a clear picture of exact what is it that people need. I think this university has produced too many people, not only, I'm not talking about the people in the Faculty of Law, it's in all other departments and in all other faculties who can be able to influence policy where they are and make people's lives better bit by bit. Whether you're a doctor, whether you're an auditor, you're an accountant, you're a teacher, you have a role to play wherever you are, and you can change the trajectory of this country with a little contribution that you can make. There's many places where people can volunteer their services. There's countless of them. Just ask and find a way for you to be able to contribute positively and bring change where you are standing. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. I would like to, first of all, thank Prof Kamga for facilitating and moderating the discussion, and then for our three panel members, Judge Mbele, Judge Daffiou, and Professor Pretorius. I think they deserve a warm hand. Before I give over for the vote of thanks, I would just like to quickly quote Professor Klopper here and just mention how these three scholars and juristic practitioners have made their contribution. She spoke about time, talent, and treasure. And they've given their time as you have given your time. They've given their talent as you have given your talent, and hopefully will give more of your talent in future. And if you do want to give some of your treasure, I see the Center for Financial Planning Law arrived as well, and we undertake to take that treasure into our caring hands and make sure that it comes to the to the faculty, if you don't mind. Right? No, guys, there's so much we can contribute, as Judge Mbele have said, and you must choose what you do. All right, to do the vote of thanks, and with that we will wrap up our proceedings for the evening. Professor Ilva Rodney Gumede, I will invite her to the podium once I have properly introduced her. Prof Rodney Gumede recently joined the University of the Free State from the University of Johannesburg, where she served as Senior Director, Division of Global Engagement. She's the Executive Director of Advancement at the UFS. She holds a PhD from the School of Oriental and African Studies at the University of London, a master's degree in politics from the University of the Witwatersrand, and a master's degree in journalism from Cardiff University in the UK. In addition, she holds a certificate in executive leadership from the Johannesburg Business School. With a career spanning more than 20 years in higher education, Professor Rodney Gumede has held fellowships at universities in South Africa and abroad. She's actively involved in teaching, executive training, and development initiatives at institutional, national, and international levels. She's an accomplished scholar and has held several leadership and academic positions in the fields of communication, journalism, and public relations. Her professional experience further includes consultancy for high-profile organizations such as University South Africa, USAF, and the Southern African Development Community, SADC. She contributes regularly to both print and broadcast media, including Newsroom Africa, SABC, Mail and Guardian, and University World News. Professor Rodney Gumede, podium is yours.
Thank you very much, Willem, and thanks to all of you for that warm welcome. As a late bloomer, as I call myself now, having just arrived in Bloom, I am going to give the vote of thanks, and it's been an amazing evening. Vice-Chancellor and Principal, Prof Klopper, you and I started early this morning engaging with a group of leaders from our various faith communities in Bloom. And then we moved on to a lecture by Professor Sachs on macroeconomics and how to save South Africa and the economy and Africa for that matter. And now we're here with you, our law alumni. You are really the heartbeat of this university and the heartbeat of the Bloemfontein community as well. So having you all here tonight is a true honor for us as the University of the Free State. And Prof Kamga, you have led us and you continue to lead this faculty, and you are walking the walk through all of those who have walked before you, and many of you are here tonight. And no one fell asleep, soft-spoken or not. And I think that's an important thing to say. So without much ado, because there are refreshments and some libations to be had, and we are going to continue to interact. But I do need to say thank you to a couple of people and to the community here. And it's really important to also acknowledge the people who have been with us online tonight. And I think that's incredible that we can do this engagement and have a broader audience, and they might even be sitting abroad. And I think that's fantastic. So we do have many alumni abroad as well. So I want to acknowledge them, and this night is a celebration of our alumni in South Africa as well as abroad, as I say. And I want to say thank you to all our donors and VIP guests here tonight, and I think they've been mentioned many times over, and without you, we can't do the work that we are doing and want to continue doing and build on. And I know that we will continue engaging with you. So please also update your details so that we can reach you, and you can do that through the UFS, or the University of Free State, I should say, alumni page, and we want you to do so. And that's also a way of engaging with our students and future students, of course. And there's a little QR code in the program, I know, where you can continue to pledging to the University of the Free State. I want to say a very special thank you to the COFSI Alumni Trust. And the work that you do together with us is really, truly important. And I want to also acknowledge Dominique Hartbrook, and who's the chair of the trust, and the work that's being done through him and others as well. So there is the COFSI Alumni Trust, as I say, has been with us for many, many years and continues to work with us at the University of Free State, and we are truly grateful for that. And there are many donors through the trust and the trust that's being done, the work that's being done for the trust, that continues to give to the university, and it's both time and money. And we have one special alumni with us here tonight who has actually, through his years at working with the trust and the university, donated over 100,000 rands, and I think that's truly fantastic. So we will continue building on that. And to our panelists here tonight, Judge Mbele, we had such a lovely conversation earlier out in the lobby before we came in, and talked a lot about the work being done also with female lawyers in South Africa and on the continent, and that's something that I think we should continue building on as well. Prof. Judge Dafu, thank you for being here tonight. We have small tokens of appreciation for you now as well, and of course, Prof. Pretorius for being part of this university and continue the work that you do is fantastic. And Miss Bayana Minkise, a law student with a beautiful voice. What an amazing treasure for this university. So thank you for the entertainment and for singing to us tonight. And also, of course, a heartfelt thank you to all the staff of the University of the Free State and the service provider who made this possible tonight, and who's also serving up this fantastic, food that we're gonna and drinks that we're gonna have just now. And of course, to everyone who have been here tonight and to making this, who's made this possible, a heartfelt thank you from me, from the Vice-Chancellor and Principal, from Prof Kamga as our Dean of Law. So, without much further ado, I think we are going to welcome everyone to some refreshments. But before we go there, some tokens of appreciation, as I say. So, please, Dean, please help me. And a round of applause.
I can't.
Thank you. And Miss Nkise, where did she go? For the beautiful, beautiful entertainment. She's up there. Thank you, and do enjoy the evening and continue engaging with us.
Thank you, Prof. Ilva. Yeah, just makes you think. You start a day with the pastors, the dominees, and the baruti, and you end it with the lawyers. That's a full day, baby. That's a full day. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for making time and for being here. If you move out through the foyer that you came in and move around the building, there's a hall on this side that we will be enjoying the refreshments. So please don't get in your car and rush off. It's not that late yet. So please join us for something to eat and drink there. And I think a warm hand of applause again for our panel and everybody that was here. Thank you.